Hi, my name is Grace Kemp from www.scriptureseries.com. I want to share some random thoughts from the book of Revelation that tell us about the coming tribulation. A great deal happens at the midpoint of the tribulation. In Daniel, there's another strange verse. Daniel 9:26 says, "The end," speaking of the tribulation period, "the end thereof shall be with a flood, and unto the end of the war desolations are determined." Now, I'm not sure how you interpret that verse, but there are two ends in the verse. I take one of them to apply to the midpoint of the tribulation, and one to apply to the end of the tribulation. And I take it that the middle of the tribulation there's going to be a flood, and at the end of the tribulation there's going to be worldwide desolation. Now, at the midpoint of the tribulation, the two witnesses, one of whom we know to be Elijah, the other is, we're not sure, but my guess is that it's probably Enoch. They will be killed and lie in the streets of Jerusalem for 3.5 days, after which God will raise them up and they will ascend to heaven. When they do that, there's an earthquake, and it strikes the city and 7,000 die. Now, just prior to that, the remnant of Israel, consisting of 1/3 of all the Jews, estimate that in today's terms of how many Jews there are, at about 5 million people. About 5 million will be converted, and they are instructed to run for their lives, otherwise they're going to die. They're heading to the wilderness, and then Satan, who has come down among men, who's going to dwell on earth for the last 3.5 years, working through the beast, who becomes the world dictator and imposes the mark of the beast, etc. The fleeing remnant of Israel are running, but Satan is out to get them. It says the serpent, being Satan, cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman. Now the woman here is fleeing Israel. The woman is the remnant of Israel. That he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. Then it says the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood. What sense can you make out of that? Well, the mouth of the serpent means an opening in the earth. In other words, there's a tremendous flood that is trying to destroy the woman. I'm wondering if the earthquake that happens when the two witnesses go up, it happens right around the same time, and the woman at this point will be about 3 days out of Jerusalem, heading toward Petra, I believe. The Jewish remnant at this point is likely to be in the Araba Valley, which runs between the Dead Sea down to Elat on the Gulf of Aqaba. This is the waters of the Aqaba are about 1,200 feet higher than the waters of the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea, of course, is the lowest place on earth. I'm wondering if that earthquake doesn't split open at Elat and allow the water of the Aqaba. Now, the waters of the Aqaba are about 1 mile deep. That enormous wall of water could gush down through a split. That could be the water that's coming out of the earth. It says it comes out of the mouth of Satan. It would be under his idea to have the earthquake split the valley of Araba open, in which case that water would come thundering down, because it's downhill, trying to drown the fleeing remnant of Israel. And then it says the remnant was frightened and gave glory to God. Why? Because the earth opened up and swallowed the flood. This could be the flood that happens at the midpoint. And then the remnant would escape to hide out in Petra for the duration. And you know, while they're there, not a hair of their head will perish. With all the efforts of all the world enraged, as particularly under the regime of the beast, they will be protected in the place that God has prepared for them. That is just my ideas on the interpretation of the flood verse. You can take it or leave it, but I think it's something to consider. I guess that's it for now. We'll talk to you later. Come back for our next talk. Thank you.